Okay, great. Is it okay if I speak in Hindi, English mix, or it's just like English only? Anyone? Divya Bharti. Okay, that's fine. I'll speak in English. Okay, can you see my screen? Yeah, that's fine. I'll speak in English. Okay, great. Okay, so how many of you know the Node.js, the basic Node.js? What is Node.js and what is the Node.js? How many of you know about Node.js? Anything that you know? Yes, come. Sure. Go ahead.
So Node.js basically it is a JavaScript library
Hmm.
created on Google Chrome V8 engine, and it is
Hmm.
most used for asynchronous programming.
Okay, great. That's
And
great.
it is a lightweighted code for basic input output. It is lightweight for basic input output.
Okay, great. That's correct, Karan. Okay. So Node.js is basically, you can say it's a backend technology. Okay. So let's see what is Node.js and why Node.js and all those things. Okay. So first of all, what is Node.js? Node.js, if I tell you in a simple language, it's a JavaScript on your backend servers. Okay. Back in the days when the internet revolution was started around like 1990, around 1990. Okay. That time JavaScript was just like a baby, you can say. Okay. Because the internet was just started at that time. Okay, so you can say the JavaScript version was JS1. Okay, you can have versions for every language. So JavaScript also has a version 1. Okay, at that time, JavaScript was not that much evolved. Okay, but before that, we had various other languages like Java, Python, C++. Okay, and some of them are procedural oriented. Some of them are purely object oriented. Some of them are partially for procedure oriented, partially object oriented. Okay, but all of these languages basically supports most of the time backend technologies. Okay, for front end, we had only one common technology for making your applications dynamic, that is JavaScript. Okay, we have HTML and CSS, but HTML basically gives you the structure. Okay, and CSS will give you the styling. Okay, the structure we have, and after on that structure, if you want to specify some styling, then we use CSS. But to make that structure dynamic, okay, to make some elements animate, some elements change the values. Okay, so we use JavaScript for that purpose. Okay, so JavaScript was there from 1990, and then JavaScript was just for the front end language, or just considered as a front end language. Okay, it was there till 2008, where JavaScript not that was not that much evolved. Okay, you can see that the other languages like Java was evolved very rapidly. Okay, from 1990 onwards, Java 1, Java 2, Java 5, Java 7, Java 9, Java 8. Okay, so right now Java 17 is there. Similarly, other languages also evolved, but JavaScript was not that evolved much. Okay, because that time only because you can say see that Java was also used with desktop application. Okay, internet was not that much was in use. Okay, later on in when Gmail, Facebook, okay, a lot of other technologies or a lot of internet based applications were introduced. Okay, then the need of JavaScript was there. Okay, so for that, JavaScript was not a purely object oriented. It was just a function or procedure oriented language. Okay, and it's basically, you can say, it's a scripting language. Okay, there is a difference between programming language and your scripting language. Okay, there is one more type of language called as markup language, which is nothing but your HTML. HTML is a markup language. Markup language means what? Whatever the tags or whatever the markup that we use, it is nothing but a markup. Okay, if you use h1 is a markup. We say h1 means header tag. It will give you some element or text in a bold and huge font. Okay. Similarly, we have h2 tag. We have a body tag. So we basically define the markup, and based on that markup, your text or your structure or whatever you write it in will be layout. Okay, so that's a markup language. There's a programming language. Programming language basically comes into the compiled level language. So where you have a where you write a code, you compile it, and the compiled code is basically generate compiled code is basically in a byte format. Okay, and then we run that byte format or compiled code. Okay, we take it into another machine. We have a virtual machine for that, and based on that virtual machine, we run that code. Okay, so that's a programming language. Then comes your scripting language. A scripting language is not a compiled language. We have a PHP also. PHP also has the same thing. Python also is the same thing. Okay, it's a programming plus scripting, where you basically write a program, write a code, but that code you don't need to compile it. You directly run that code and it will execute. Okay, it will execute one by one, line by line, and if there is an error, then it will stop there. Okay, that's a scripting language. You can say it's a interpreted or scripting. Interpreted means what? One by line, one line at a time is interpreted, then it is the output is printed. Okay, so that's your scripting language. The JavaScript comes under scripting language. Okay, now you can see that script is already there in the JavaScript. So that's a scripting language. Okay, but why is the name JavaScript? Because that time Java was more popular, and to gain the popularity for the scripting language, they have renamed it to JavaScript. Okay, now JavaScript was evolved, but not that much evolved. It was, we can say that Java 1 was introduced. JavaScript JS was 1 was introduced in 1990, but after that 1995 or 1998, around that, JavaScript 2 or 3 version was introduced. Later on, the till 2008, okay, again to the 2010, you can say there was no evolution in JavaScript. Okay, so as you can see that we can see that various other languages like Java, Python, C Sharp, C++, these languages has a lot of other features. You can say that if you want to import some file, okay, if you have learned about Java or Python, you will see that there's a file, and if you want to import that file into your another file, use import statement. Okay, this simple import statement was also not there in the JavaScript. Okay, so you can see that how much JavaScript was not evolved at that time. Okay, so even Node.js was the first thing which introduced this import statements and all. Okay, we have a require function. Require function was there in a Node.js. It's actually there in the Node.js, which we use to import other files. Okay, till that time, in JavaScript there was not even an import statement. Okay, and JavaScript was only used in front end in a browser. Okay, but nowadays you can see that JavaScript is everywhere. Okay, that's because of Node.js. Node.js has provided vast opportunity for JavaScript. Okay, and it's not basically other languages. It's like you execute a code one by one. Okay, it's like a synchronous thing is there. Means if you write a code, let's say in Java you write a hello world program, then that hello world program will basically execute line by line. In Python also, if you write a program line by line, that program will execute line by line. Okay, but in JavaScript, that execution of the code is quite different compared to your synchronous nature of your any other programming language. Okay, as Karan just told us that it is asynchronous nature, right? It's a Node.js is a synchronous programming language. So we'll see that in the later chapters how it is asynchronous, and how that asynchronous helps Node.js or JavaScript to excel into the uh, backend technologies, okay, compared to other technologies. Okay, why it is faster? Okay, as Node.js, as actually I have tested Node.js with other languages, and I can tell you that Node.js is pretty much faster with compared to other languages. Okay, I can give you some examples. Like there was one client of me. I was working with Quantify company. There was a client which was a KDP company, okay, which was having coffee brewing machines. Okay, they have like a lot of coffee brewing machines, around let's say 100,000 coffee brewing machines were there, and they have installed those machines in these many companies. Okay, some of the companies, and they were around 100,000, like you can say 1 lakh brewing machines were there. Now these machines are like smart machines. Okay, they basically capture, you basically place a lead below that camera. Okay, where from where your brewed coffee will be served. You, that camera will capture the lead image, and based on the lead image it will generate a recipe, and using that recipe your coffee will be brewed, and it will be served to you. Okay, now this much, some of the machines are smart, that the machine learning or AI was machine learning algorithm or AI was there inbuilt into the smart machines. But this some of the smart machines are not that much smart. They don't have a capability of executing machine learning code or AI code, okay, inbuilt into them. So that time they introduced a cloud, okay, where they will where when the image is captured, that image will be sent to the cloud through some API, and that on that cloud server we will execute the code, ML and AI code, and using that code the recipe will be generated, and that recipe will be sent back to your brewing machine, and that brewing machine then serve the coffee. Okay, now this process should take around 2 seconds. Okay, so for this, we actually I was introduced in that project later on. The project was already built with Python. Okay, and later on, the project in that the response time should be 2 seconds. Okay, so in peak hours, okay, in peak hours, the request was around like 1,000 requests per minute. Okay, you can see that 1,000 requests per minute a single server is handling. Okay, single server can't handle such a huge request. Okay, uh, even though if you increase the RAM, you increase the CPU, it doesn't handle such huge load. Okay, you need to scale it out. You need to scale your servers. You need to scale servers horizontally. Means you need to um, आपको और एक खड़ा सर्वर खड़ा करना पड़ेगा. Okay, so that's the level of complexity was there. Okay, but the problem was that even though the 100,000 sorry 100,000 coffee brewing machines were there in the peak time. In peak time means you can say in the morning. Okay, in the morning around 9 to 10, 8 to 10. Okay, so at that time 1,000 requests per minute was still pretty low, because they had around 500,000 brewing machines, and when they introduce this, it will go up to 5,000 requests per minute. So we wanted to serve these many requests. So what Python was giving was like, we were only about to serve 300 to 400 requests per minute. Okay, and even the event hub, like you can see queuing mechanism, was not able to serve these many requests. So I just did one change into that. We replaced that code with some basic Node.js code. Okay, I tried it with Node.js, and you can't imagine, the requests served were around 1 lakh requests per minute. Okay, so it was that much amount of load. Just a single CPU. I'm talking about just single server. Okay, not with multiple servers. Just a single server was able to handle 1 lakh requests per minute. Okay, that is the power of Node.js. Okay, so you can see that if you want to serve those many requests simultaneously, okay, Node.js will come to the rescue, and you will find that uh, you as a fresher, you will join in a company with Java, .NET, Python. Okay, but later on when you have an experience of 2 to 3 years, okay, you can see that Node.js you will find that Node.js and other technologies will be in high demand. Okay, experienced person expects or experienced companies expect Node.js from an experienced candidate. Okay, so eventually even if you start with Java, Python, or any other language, eventually you'll have to learn Node.js. Okay, because Node.js will come to the rescue when you have a huge load and when you have a real-time based applications. Okay, so that's the Node.js for you. And you can see it's a JavaScript on your backend servers. Okay, so what is Node.js? Node.js is basically a virtual machine. Okay, as just Karan also told us about V8 engine, Chrome engine it uses at the backend. Okay, so it's nothing but a Node.js actually doesn't run your code. Okay, the code that you write, okay, in a JavaScript is actually executed by your V8 engine. V8 engine is the engine uh, which basically your Chrome browser uses. Okay, so even Chakra is basically for used for Internet Explorer at that time. Okay, and there is also other engines are also there. So Node.js can use any engine at the low level. Okay, you can say V8 engine is most popularly used. Okay, sorry. So that's what your virtual machine. So Node.js is not actually running your code. It doesn't execute your code. Then what it does? Okay, uh, it actually gets your code, pass it passes that code to your V8 engine. V8 engine will execute that code, and then the output is basically returned to your Node.js code, and Node.js will print the code. Okay, then what? Then what is Node.js is doing in here? Okay, Node.js is not just the Node.js is not meant for executing your code, because to execute your code, we already have engines for that. Okay, V8 engine is already there. Okay, then what is the Node.js is doing it? Okay, Node.js is a wrapper around your virtual machine, like your V8. Okay, so it's a wrapper. Okay, then what? So it's a wrapper around your V8 with built-in modules providing rich features through easy-to-use asynchronous APIs. Okay, now what is the statement? So see, um, see every code that you write in a JavaScript is actually executed by V8. But Node.js, what it will do is, see, V8 is basically JavaScript. If you say it's a single-threaded language, okay, you can you might have heard about multi-threading in other languages like in Java, Python, C Sharp, .NET. Okay, anywhere you will see that there is a multi-threading concept. Okay, but in JavaScript there is no multi-threading concept. Why? Because JavaScript itself runs on single thread. Why? Because your V8 engine runs on a single thread. Then sir, why, how it is performing multiple requests or multiple requests at the same time? Okay, that's because of the asynchronous nature of your Node.js. Okay, or you can say JavaScript. Okay, yeah, whatever the asynchronous task that it has to perform, it internally does that things. Okay, means there is a multi-threading, but that multi-threading is happened internally. You don't have to spawn any thread, you don't have to create any thread. Okay, that thing is basically handled by your weight engine or your Node.js. Okay, so Node.js provides this asynchronous APIs and multi-threading, okay, through its wrapper. Okay, so V8 engine will run on the main thread, but other threads, okay, if you want to do some heavy operations like writing to a file, or doing some network operation, or doing some database queries, okay, Node.js will take care of that thing. It will create a separate thread, it will run that in a separate thread, and your main thread, which is dedicated for your V8, will run separately. Okay, and there will not be any clash in between. Okay, and that's how basically Node.js runs. We will see that in our later lectures through a code how Node.js runs this, and there's a concept called as event loop. We'll understand that event loop concept through code, how it runs. Okay, right now you won't understand this, but in later chapters through code we will understand how this asynchronous nature of Node.js works. Okay, but till this, you got any the understanding of Node.js? What is Node.js is? Any questions till now? By the way, this lecture will be like bad ही रहेगा मेरा. Okay, because first lecture will be I'll just talk and talk and talk. Okay, next lecture onwards we will do the practicals. Okay, because I want to give you some background or theoretical knowledge about Node.js. Okay, otherwise you just doing a code will not, you will not understand what is Node.js and how it runs. Okay, so that's the reason I just want to give you the background knowledge or the overall idea about Node.js. Okay, we'll do some basic practical today, but yeah. So understood what is Node.js is, and now compare, if you compare it with other languages, how it is different. Okay, so you just have to think differently for Node.js. Okay, don't think about the other languages how it works. Okay, you can start for Node.js as with a different concept. Okay, so don't just compare it with other languages. Okay, just start it differently, start it fresh. Okay, then you will be able to understand Node.js. Because I know it's not a for freshers. Okay, freshers will not understand that easily Node.js, but if you start it freshly, start as a separate language, then you will be able to understand it. Okay. So that is Node.js for you. Then now why Node? Okay, why Node.js? So we'll see the advantages, pros and cons of Node.js. So first of all, it's a wrapper around V8, so which executes JavaScript. So V8 is already handling the JavaScript part for you, but the asynchronous part is basically handled by Node.js. It has some built-in modules as well, like FS. FS stands for file system. So if you want to run any file-related things, file handling, the FS module will be used. Okay, basically, if you see. In JavaScript, okay, if you run the JavaScript on your browsers, okay, you won't be able to access any file, okay, unless and until you do it through forms. Okay, if you upload a file or do form handling through HTML, HTML JavaScript, then only you will be able to access the file. But on a browser or client side, you can't directly access any file. Okay, so there is no FS module in a JavaScript, but that FS module is provided by Node.js. Why? Because Node.js actually runs on the backend, and you in the backend you need access to files. If you want to upload a file, if you want to save files to a folders, okay, if you want to loop through some files, you need a file system module for that. Okay, so FS module is provided by Node.js, which is not provided by V8. Okay, because it is not required on browser or client side. Okay, then there is a HTTP module. HTTP module is basically used to create a server. Okay. Now on front end or client browser, we don't create a server, but on a Node.js is actually designed for server and technologies. So we need to create a server. So HTTP is there to create a server. Okay, we'll create a server using HTTP later on. Then we have a crypto module. Crypto module is basically used for cryptography. Okay, encryption, decryption, and all those things. Zip is another module, built-in module, which is used for compression, decompression. Okay, there are other modules are also available. Okay, which are provided by Node.js. Okay, you can go through the documentation. You'll find all the modules which are provided by Node.js. Okay, and the third pros is basically asynchronous APIs. There are more threads. Okay, as I told you, V8 executes on a single thread. Okay, then the asynchronous APIs are which are provided by Node.js are basically handled by Node.js, and they will spawn a thread internally. You don't have to create a thread. Okay, that's the meaning of no threads. That means you don't have to create a thread. The thread handling will be done by Node.js in the background. Okay, so that's asynchronous API, and we will learn about asynchronous nature of this Node.js later on. C++ add-ons. It has an excellent support for C++ add-ons. Means you can create a C++ library and then you can port that library to Node.js. Okay, as an add-on. Okay, that means you can use C++ code in Node.js as well. Okay, as an add-on. Debugger and other utilities also provided by your multiple editors. Like if you are using VS Code, WebStorm, any other IDE, they will provide the debugger and other utilities through Node.js. Okay, Node.js has that support for you. Then these are the last two modules, npm and module dependency manager, which in my opinion are the most important modules. We have a dedicated lectures for this. Okay, npm and module dependency manager. We will learn in depth about npm. Npm is nothing but node package manager. So if you have multiple packages, multiple libraries, then how do you manage those libraries? So we'll understand that in npm. Also, we'll understand how to create your own library, how to publish that library to npm registry. That also we'll see in this. Okay, and the module dependency manager is also one of the important topic where you will see or understand about modules. How do you use modules? How the modules are dependent with each other? Again, how do you manage those modules? Again, how your concurrency is handled. Okay, asynchronous and concurrency is handled through modules. Okay, so that we will see. So these are the most pros you can say of your Node.js. And one of the most important thing about Node.js is full stack. Okay, one language everywhere. So if you know JavaScript and Node.js, you will be able to do obviously front end development as well, because you know JavaScript. HTML, CSS is a piece of thing. Okay, that's not that much difficult. It's easy compared to your JavaScript. Okay, but JavaScript, if you know JavaScript, you can do front end development. You can do websites, web applications. Okay, and if you know JavaScript as well, so you know, if you know Node.js, then you can obviously do backend applications using Node.js. You can create servers, you can run applications, you can write a simple command line application using Node.js as well. Okay. Also, if you know Node.js, you can do um, um, mobile applications as well, because if you know Angular, React, the React also has a native React native library which is used to create mobile applications. On Angular also, using Angular also you can create mobile based applications. There's an Ionic framework which uses JavaScript. So and internally they uses Node.js. Okay, so as a to create a simple server. Okay, so if you create a simple server using Node.js, you know, using this framework, you'll be able to create mobile based applications as well. Okay, and if you know Node.js, you can also create desktop based applications. Okay, and desktop based applications, you can use Electron.js library, which is also built on top of Node.js. Okay, so that library you can that using Electron.js, you can create your desktop based applications. I know this because I have myself has created a desktop based application using Electron.js. Okay, even the VS Code editor that you use, okay, it is also built on top of your Node.js. Okay, if you run Node VS Code, and if you see in your activity monitor, or if you are running Windows, then open the task manager and see the processes. You'll find that VS Code is using Node.js in the background. Okay, so so that's the meaning of full stack, means using one language. Just if you learn just one language, JavaScript, you will be considered as a full stack developer. Okay, so that's one of the major advantages of Node.js. Okay, then there are some cons as well. Okay, but if you look from a different perspective, you can say that these cons can be your features as well. Okay, like different way of thinking. Okay, means there is a asynchronous nature of your Node.js. It's a as I told you, every language has a synchronous working of your code. Okay, means every line of code will execute one after another. You can predict which code is running after which code. Okay, but in Node.js, it becomes difficult to predict how the code is running. Okay, for that we will learn how this asynchronous nature works, how the event loop handles this. Okay, then you will be able to understand how what is the way of the working of Node.js or asynchronous nature. Okay, picking good options means like for there is a npm basically handles all the packages. Okay, so even if you want to do some small tasks, we have a lot of options available in npm package manager. Okay, this package manager is basically introduced by Node.js only. Okay, it was not there before. Okay, Later on, package manager in the sense you can say it's a Play Store. If you are using Android, if you won't need any game or any PK file, you can just go to the Play Store, download that PK file and run it. Okay. So package npm package manager is nothing but the same thing only. You have a packages, you have to install those packages and run it. Just give me a minute. Okay, there is a call is coming. Sorry. Okay, so that means you for now npm is with lot of packages. So even if you want to do, let's say, if you want to do some um, file system related things, okay, you have a lot of packages for that. Then picking a best option from that is a difficult choice. Okay, but that can also be eliminated if you just Google search which is the best option for this feature. You will find the most important, most popular library at the top of your Google search. Okay, so that also can be eliminated. On small packages, okay, you will find that even a simple Node.js application, okay, Node.js project will have around hundreds of packages. Okay, now these small packages will basically will pile up and will make your code heavy. Okay, but that is also not a problem. Okay, because we have a package manager for that, npm package manager, which handles all these small packages. Okay, the dependencies and all those things. Okay, so that these cons can also be not can also be considered as the features of Node.js. Okay, so this is what about Node.js is. Okay, understood till this? Any questions?
Got it, sir.
Clear? Okay, great, good, great. Okay, now before starting with Node.js, we'll just see some of the terminologies, okay, which we will use in Node.js very extensively. Okay, so so there is a callback term we use most of the time in Node.js. What exactly is a callback? Okay, anyone knows what is callback? Anyone has done JavaScript before knows about callback? What is callback? Yes.
That is something regarding their request.
Your voice is low. Rajesh.
Maybe something regarding the request,
Something regarding
server request.
couldn't be able to hear you. Okay. Anyone other than Rajesh?
सर एक फंक्शन में दूसरा फंक्शन कॉल पास करते हैं हम कॉल बैक फंक्शन
Okay. Correct. Correct. You are right, Somnath. Also, Manu calling back a function which was previously declared. Correct. That is also correct. Function passed as an argument to another function. That is also correct. Okay. So all of you are correct. Okay. So in a term itself, you can say a call back. Okay. So in a term itself, it is there is a definition is hidden. Okay. You can say a function that node will call back at a later point in time is of a program is called as callback function. Okay. Now let's understand this with a simple analogy. Okay. So if you go to any restaurant or any food outlet, okay, you will see that let's consider a pizza, a Domino's pizza, okay, pizza shop where you will just order a pizza. Okay, after ordering pizza, your pizza will not be served immediately. Okay, it will take some time to create that pizza, right? It will be prepare it, the recipe will, they will prepare that pizza according to your requirements. Okay, so it will take some time. Till that time, do you stay at the counter to receive the pizza, or do you just wait at um, your table? Okay, so what they will do is they will give you the token. Okay, they will give you some number, token number, and then you can do your own work. Okay, you can do your own work, you can talk with your friends. Okay, you can do other things. Okay, till your pizza is ready. Okay, once your pizza is ready, okay, that pizza making of your pizza is basically happening in the background. Okay, you can say it's a asynchronous task. Okay, once that pizza is ready, now the pizza is ready. Now how it will call you? Okay, so it will call you through that token number. Okay, and this process is nothing but your callback function. Okay, so what is callback in this? So this, it is giving you a token. Okay, the token is nothing but you can call it as a function. Okay, that function is called when the pizza is ready. Okay, so the restaurant guy will call the token number. Once you call the token number, you will come back to your counter, receive the pizza, and then you will eat it. Okay, so that's what your callback function is, and that's how your callback function will work. Okay, so here what we do is you can say token is a function. Okay, and making a pizza is also a function. So what restaurant counter guy is doing is it is giving you the function. Okay, it is passing you the function. Okay, and that function is getting called when the making of pizza is done. Okay, so a function is passed to a function, and then it is called after some point of time or its work is done as a callback function. Okay, now how do you define this? So let's just I'll just do it with some example. I'll do the some code here. I'll do it in a Chrome itself. So let's say you have a function. Let's call it as a token function. Okay, so token function is basically a function or token is passed to you. Okay, yeah, it will be called. Okay, so I'll just write console.log um, call token. Okay, yes, just like that. Okay, so this is a function, token function. Now there is a function called as make pizza. Okay, now this make pizza will accept one function. We can call that as any variable. Okay, but this variable should be a function. Okay, so here let's say I'm preparing a pizza, so I'll console.log preparing a pizza. Okay, it may take some time. Okay, after the pizza is ready, okay, it will now it needs to call you. Okay, now it will call you using this callback function. Now the CB must be a function which can be called at a later point of time. Okay, you can say that, see that after my work is done, I'm calling this callback function. Okay, then afterwards you can just enter it, and your function is ready. Now when you call a make pizza, okay, you will pass your token function to it. Okay, so this token function is passed here, and your make pizza will do its work. Once that work is done, so it is preparing a pizza. Once that is done, the CB, the token, okay, token is passed to this make pizza as a CB. This CB is called, that means token is called, and you will see that call token is printed here. Okay, so your function token function is passed as a parameter to another function, and that function is calling that function after some point of time, and when you call that function, it will execute it. The output of that function will be printed here. You can see that preparing a pizza is printed first, and then call token is printed afterwards. Okay, this is just a like fast work. Okay, now sometimes this work may take some time. Okay, it may take some uh, for 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 1 minute or 10 minutes. Okay, so after that is done, then this callback function will be called. Okay, so that's how your callback functions are called. And this CB is nothing but a function which is passed to another function is called as callback function. And that function should be called at a later point of time. Okay, understood this callback function? Okay, good. Sometimes we call this, there is interviewer may ask you this question as well. What is higher order function and all? Okay, so the function which is passed to a function is called as callback function. CB is a callback function, and make pizza is called as higher order function. Okay, because this function is going to call this another function. So the function to which the function is passed is called as higher order function. So in this case, make pizza is a higher order function. Okay. So this type of questions can be asked in your interview. Okay. So this is higher order function. Make pizza is a higher order function, and the CB is a callback function. Okay. Okay. So that's the callback function for you. And that is what I actually explained here. Okay. With a code. Okay. Now, the another term basically used with callback is nothing but promise. Okay. Now, anyone knows promise? Yes? Anyone? No? Okay, no problem. Okay, so promise is, see, promise, you can call it as a, I'll give you an analogy for that. Okay, basically, promise and callbacks are two different patterns of using asynchronous programming. Okay, so in Node.js, when you do asynchronous programming, we use promises and callback. Callback is one of the pattern. Promise is also one of the pattern. Later on, we will see async await pattern that actually uses promises in like at the back end, but async await pattern we will see later on. Okay, but what is promise? Okay, promise means, I'll give you one analogy where, let's say, when you want to get a when you want to get a chick from a chicken. Okay, let's say जब मुर्गी से आपको एक बच्चा चाहिए, right? So what that chicken or what that hen will give you, okay, it will not directly give you the chick, it will give you the egg. Okay, that egg may give you a chick or it may fail. Okay, that egg is nothing but a promise. It is giving you the promise that this egg will either hatch and give you the chick, or it will fail or break. Okay, or it will be a broken anda. Okay, so that anda, okay, or egg is nothing but a promise. Okay, that promise will execute after some period of time, because you will not get a chick immediately. You will need to process it. After some days you will get a chick out of it. Otherwise it may fail and it will be a broken anda. Okay, so that's what how your promise is. Okay, so in JavaScript also, promise, when you want to execute some code in a background or in a parallel or in a synchronous way, okay, you call that function. And when that function is called, okay, you you will either get a response in a success or failure. Okay, by the way, have you guys done jQuery in your web designing? No. Okay, that's fine. Ajax? Ajax? No. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Ajax means like a synchronous call. Okay, so it's like a network call. Okay, sorry. So consider when you, let's say, if you are using Instagram or Facebook, okay, when you press that like button, okay, so your page is not getting refreshed. When you click on that like button, the like will happen. It will be stored in the server, but that will happen in the background. Your page will not refresh. Okay, that is nothing but your asynchronous Ajax call. Okay, that Ajax call happens in the background. It has to be happened in a separate thread, okay, or in a separate environment. Okay, and that is called as Ajax. Okay, so this Ajax calls basically now when you click on like button, okay, that if that like when you click on like button, the API call or Ajax call will go to the server. Okay, now if the server is available or server is executed that like function in a proper way, or there is in a proper way, then it will give you successful response. Okay, or if suppose server is down or your request fails, okay, if you are not logged in, there is a token expiry. Okay, so this type of errors may come. At that time you will get a failure response. Okay, so when you call a Ajax call or asynchronous call, okay, that time you will either get a successful response or you will get a failure response. So there are two types of responses only. Okay, now this asynchronous or Ajax call is basically handled through promise. Okay, so when you call a Ajax call, it will return you promise. Okay, that promise will have two functions, success and failure. Okay, now this success function is called as then function in promise, and failure function is called as catch function. Okay, so if you have a successful response, it will be returned in a then function. If you have a failure response, it will be returned in a catch function. Okay, so that's how your promises are. Okay, so this is just an example. So you can see that there is a chicken. It is function is called as make chick. This will return you a promise, let's say egg, and now this egg will basically hatch after some time. It will give you a successful outcome. Then it will give you a chick. If it gives you failure outcome, then it will be written in a catch function. Okay. So is it something similar to observables? Yeah, if you have learned Angular, then you can compare it with observables. Observables are like advanced version of your promises. Okay, so where promises were not able to handle uh, some of the asynchronous calls, uh, observables came to a rescue. Okay, so observables obviously you can say it's an advanced version of promises. Okay, promises basically when you call a promise, you can't stop it. Okay, if you call a Ajax call, you cannot stop that Ajax call. Okay, there are some ways in a modern JavaScript you can do that through a bot controller and all, but you can it's basically if you call it, you'll not be able to stop it. Observables can be stopped. Okay, observables using unsubscribe, you can stop the observables. Okay, also you can when you call a Ajax promise call, it will immediately execute. Observables are lazy. They will not execute unless and until you subscribe to them. Okay, so these are some characteristics or differences between observables and promises. Okay, so observables are much advanced than your promises. Okay, so that's what about promises. So everyone understood promise? Any doubts in promise? We will learn about promises in modern JavaScript lectures. I will take an example of sorry, promises. Okay, but the concept is clear. Yes. Okay. Great. I can see that some of you are not answering. You guys there or not? Or just चालू कर दिया और चले गए? Okay. Chalo, then so that's what about your these two major concepts, or you can say jargons, okay, which you need to understand about callback and promises. Okay, because these are the two terms that we will use extensively in Node.js. Okay, so you should understand these two terms first. Okay, now moving on to the next. Now we will see how to install Node and how what it gives you. Okay, to install Node, I hope most of you have installed it or not. If some of you have not installed, you can go to nodejs.org site. Okay. Here you will find now Node.js 19 has been introduced, okay, which is current version, but the stable version is 18.12.1. Okay, so just download this LTS version. Don't download current version because it's a current version is nothing but your um, not unstable version, or you can say it's a nightly build. Means it may be deployed in the, you can say, last night or today, whatever. Okay, so it will basically break. Okay, some of the features will break in this version. Okay, and this LTS version is nothing but your long-term support version. So this is more recommended for most of the users, and we don't want to use some high features, so you can download this LTS version. Okay, I already have downloaded Node.js on my machine. Okay, but its version is 16. You can download the recent version. That's fine. Okay, or else this is for Mac OS because my machine is Mac OS, so it is automatically detecting your operating system. If you want to download Windows version, go to the other downloads and download the MSI version. Don't download zip version. Okay. MSI, if you have a 64-bit machine, use 64-bit. Most of the times you will see 64-bit version. So just download MSI version, and MSI is nothing but Microsoft installer. Okay, so you just have to double click on it and go through the installation process. Okay, don't have to do anything, just click next and install it. Okay. And for Mac OS, who is using Mac OS, I would recommend using .pkg version, so you can install using this. And for Linux binaries, you can use x64 RAM. That depends on your machine. If you are using ARM based machines, use ARM, or if you are using Intel based machine, use x64. Okay, or else if you have other operating systems, okay, you can go to all download options. I guess no, not here. Building Node.js from supported platforms. 1 minute, just let me check. Binary archive. You can click on installing Node.js via package manager, and then if you have Ubuntu or Debian based machine, okay, or CentOS, Fedora, Red Hat, whichever, you can just click on this and it will give you Node.js binary distribution link. Click on this and you will find Ubuntu related instructions here. Okay, here you can see the installation instructions. Don't use 19 version, use 18 version. Okay, just copy this. These are the two lines. Okay, first line will basically download the Node.js. Here just replace 19 with 18, and then second line will install the Node.js with the downloaded version. Okay, so this is for Ubuntu and this is for Debian. Okay, yeah, this is the 18, this version. Just download this one. Okay, if you are using Ubuntu or any other operating system, okay, then you have these options here. Okay. So once downloaded it, installed, okay, then you can just open your terminal. Just and once it is installed successfully, you can go to terminal or open your command prompt. If you are using Windows, open command prompt and type node space hyphen hyphen version. If you see this, okay, your version might be differing, but use a version greater than 16. Okay, might be 17 or 18, whatever the version you have. It doesn't matter whichever version you are using, that's fine. Okay, so you'll find the latest version here. Okay, and along with, when you install Node, along with Node, you will also get one more command, which is npm. Okay, you can check npm version. If npm version is printed, that means the node is successfully installed. Okay, along with your npm. Okay, So just download it, install it, and check your node with this. Okay. Now once it is installed, okay, do that in a side by side or in a background. Okay. I'll just go ahead. Okay. You will get one thing called as REPL. Okay. When you install node, you will get REPL. Now what is REPL? You can see that REPL means read, eval, print, and loop. Okay. What does this mean? So let's see what is this REPL and how it works. So to start a REPL, you can just type node and hit enter. Okay, you will come into nodes environment, nodes world. Okay, here whatever the node things are, you will be able to run it. Okay, here you can see that the even the this starting line is also changed with arrows. Okay, the greater than symbol. Okay, here you can type in any JavaScript code and it will be executed. This is like the same thing that you have in Chrome when you do inspect any console. Whatever do you do it here, it is like the same thing here. Okay, that means if you do console dot log, okay, hello world like this, okay, and hit enter, your hello world will be printed. Okay, if you do the same thing here, console dot log hello world, you will see the same thing, hello world, and you will also see the undefined. You can also see the greater than symbol. Okay, so it's the same output you can see. So it's like a Chrome also has the like in console we have a this REPL. The same thing we have it in a Node.js also. Okay, so most of the things will work as it is that works in a Chrome. Okay, except for some of the things like you have a window object here which will print a window object, but in Node.js we don't have a window object. Okay, if you print window, you will see window is not defined. Because why this happens? Because window object is obviously applicable on browsers because browser runs on a DOM, document object model, which has a document windows, document.create element, document.get element by ID that you run. It is nothing but a part of your window. Okay. Now that will only happen when we are in a browser. But Node.js actually runs on a backend server. We don't have a DOM here. Okay. So there is no window object here. Okay, so there is no window object here. Okay, this is the major difference. Okay, sometimes it might be asked in an interview, if you write a window console log dot window in a node, what will happen? So people gets confused. They understand, they know that window is basically a DOM object, so it will print a window object. But no, in Node.js, window will not print a window object. It will just print you window is not defined, because in Node.js runs on a backend server or backend. In backend, you don't have a DOM. There is no document object model. Okay, so there is no window object here. Okay, so this is what you will get. And what is happening here is basically, so as we saw the REPL means read eval print loop. So when we ran this console.log hello world, so what, and hit enter, now what happened here is Node.js has read this command or read this your line. Okay, then it has sent this read line to V8 V8 engine. V8 engine has evaluated that code. Okay, and after that evaluation, it has sent the output to Node.js. Node.js has printed that output in a console. Okay, that is print, and then it has again come back to the original state, that is loop. Okay, so that is what happening here. Read the code, evaluate the code, print the output, then loop is coming back to your original state. Okay, and print it. So that's what your REPL is. Okay, you'll find this in Python and other languages as well. Okay, if you have done Python, even in Java also, Java has introduced JShell. In that also, you can do this REPL thing. Okay, so that's what REPL is. You can do a lot of other things, like if you want to declare a variable var a equals to 10, okay, the variable will be declared. You can use a and the value will be printed as 10. Okay, so you can also define a function. Okay, So if you have a function like this, like a function f1 brackets curly brace start, now here you will find three dots. Okay, that means a node understands that your code is not completed yet because you have just started curly brace, you have not completed it. So node understands that you are still writing some code. So you can just write it like, let's say hello. Okay, and then you can enter, and once you write a closing curly brace and hit enter, your code is now evaluated. Okay, there is no output to be printed because function is not called, it's just declared, so there is no output. You can see undefined is printed here. Now when you once you call fun1, then you will see the function is evaluated, its output is printed, and then again coming back to your loop. Okay, so that's what your node REPL is. Node REPL may be a handy tool to handle to run some basic task and get some output out of it. Okay, you can use node REPL for that. Okay, but in real world, when you want to run applications, you will not use REPL in a code. But yeah, for a testing development purpose, you can use REPL. Okay, understood this REPL? Yes. Okay, great. Try it out. I'll give you some time. Okay, if you have installed Node.js, just try this out. Okay, great. I'll give you some time. Try this. Once done, let me know. Just write done here once done. Okay, done. Okay, great. Okay, good. Now, this is what your node is. You can do a lot of other features as well in REPL. Okay. So if you want to come out of this REPL, you can just press Control D or type exit and hit enter. You will come out of the node REPL. Okay. Now this is fine. Node REPL, we can run our code, JavaScript code and execute it. But what if I want to create a JavaScript file and then I want to run that JavaScript file? How do I do it? Okay, so to do that, I will be using VS Code editor. Okay, you can also use VS Code, or if you want to use any other editor, that's totally fine. Okay, but I would recommend VS Code because it's the support is great for VS Code. Okay, so I'll just open the VS Code. I already have opened it. I'll just open a directory here. Yes. I'll create a new folder. Node.js programs. Okay, open. So I'll increase the font size. What command you say to close the REPL? Use Control D. It's not a command, it's a Control plus D. Type Control plus D, or you can type in exit as well. Like if you are into this, type exit and hit enter. Sorry, exit dot exit, not exit. So dot exit and hit enter. It will also exit it. And if you want to do Control C, you can type Control C 2 times also. Then also it will exit. Yeah. Now I'll write a first program here. Now I don't need a terminal here, so I'll just close it. Okay, whatever code I will do it in a VS Code itself. Okay, so I'll just create one file. Let's call it as index.js. Okay, and here I just write console.log hello node. Okay. Now, how do I execute this file? Okay, to execute this file, you first need to go to this folder in your terminal and then run the file. Okay. Now, you don't if you are using VS Code, you can directly open a terminal. You can find a terminal and new terminal option here, or you can just press Control J. Okay, if you press Control J, the terminal will open, and it will open in the same folder where your files are open or folder is open. Okay, you can see that Node.js programs, so same folder, at the same folder your terminal is open. Okay, otherwise if you are going through terminal, you'll have to go to that folder and then you'll have to run it. Okay. All right, so right now I'm in the same folder. So I'll just write node space index.js. Okay. If you want to execute any JavaScript code in Node, just type node space index.js and hit enter. You will see hello node printed. Okay. That's how you run Node code. Okay. Using node space file name. Understood? Try this out. Once done, let me know.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you explain it again? How to run it? I was
Yeah, to run your code, you just have to go to the folder. Okay, if you are using VS Code, you can directly open the terminal. Okay, here you can directly open the terminal using terminal, new terminal, or you can type Control J to open the terminal, and the terminal will directly open to the folder where you are into that folder, and you can type in node space your file name. Okay, node space your file name.
okay. Got it.
Then okay. Okay, cool. Great. Okay, so let's move ahead. So that's how you can run your file using node space file name. Okay, but this code is basically a simple code where your code is executed line by line and your output is printed. For this, we have to create a new folder. So you can create your own folder and write your own node programs into that folder. Okay, instead of creating a lot of other folders, just create one folder and write all the programs in that folder itself. Okay. Okay. Now, this is just simple code which will execute one by one. Okay, like we have only one line here, so it will execute it and run it. Okay, there is and after executing it, it will stop. Okay, you can see because there is nothing to execute now. Okay, but there are some codes which basically will not stop. They will run on and on and on, like till you terminate them. Okay, like running a server. If you are running a server, it should be running in the background. Okay, running continuously. It should not stop, right? If it stops, then won't be able to communicate with the server, right? So it should go on and on and on. Okay, so how will you run a server? Okay, so we'll just see one simple code to create a server in Node.js and how to run it. Okay, we'll not go detail into that, because later on when we will learn about Express and all, that time I will go detail into what Node.js and how that server is created. Okay, but I'll just create a file here. Let's call it as a server.js. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, I'll just create a server here. I'll explain the code. Okay, just let me complete it first. So const so http equals to require http, then const listener equals to function request from a response, and response dot write hello response dot end, then const server equals to http dot create server, and passing a listener on our server dot listen, pass any port number, let's say 4000, and write a function here. And console log server is running. Okay, so what is happening here? What is this code? Okay, so I'll just run it and then I will explain it to you. So if I want to run this code, I'll just write node, then server.js, node space server.js. If you hit enter, you will see that server is running and your code is not stopped here. Okay, then what is happening? Server is actually running on localhost colon 4000 port. Okay, on 4000 port is server is running. Okay, you can just check it out. Go to the browser, type localhost colon 4000 and hit enter. You will see hello printed here. Okay, see hello is printed. Okay, so that's how your server is doing. Hello, when hello from where this hello is coming, we have printed response.write hello here. So this hello is printed over there. Okay, now what is happening here is, so this first line, okay, font size, okay, or increase कर लो. ज्यादा increase करो तो कुछ दिखेगा ही नहीं. ठीक है. So what is happening here is, you can see the first line. In the first line, we are importing an HTTP module. Okay, to import any module in Node.js, we use this require function and then specify the module name here. Okay, we'll go into detail into modules in the module section. Okay, but right now, if you want to import any module, we say require function and the module name. The HTTP is an inbuilt module. Just now we saw in the PPT that it has some built-in modules. The HTTP was one of them. Okay, to create a server. So when you imported this module, we took it into a variable. Then we have created a one listener function. I hope you guys know how to create a function. You can create a function using like this, like a variable and then function, or you can create a function like this as well. Okay, simple function. Okay, I'll just keep it simple for now. Function listener. Okay, you can give it any name. It should accept two parameters, request and response. Request basically first parameter, response your second parameter. Request means whatever is coming from your browser or client is considered as a request. And when you want to send, server wants to send to a client or browser, we call it as a response. Okay, so we want to send hello to a browser, we are using response.write hello, and then we are ending the response. This is an important thing. You have to end the response, because if you don't end the response will like go on and on and it will go into loop. Okay, so we want to stop it, we will end it. Okay, this is just a function. Okay, now we are passing this function to our HTTP create server function. Okay, HTTP has a function called as create server. Now here we are passing this listener function. Now you can see that we are passing a function to other function. Listener function is passed to create server function. Now this create server function is called as higher order function, and listener function is called as callback function. Okay. Now when this callback function is called, create server is calling this listener callback function when you visit that website on your browser through your browser. So when you write localhost colon 4000 in your browser, this listener function is getting called, and that's the reason you are getting hello over there in the browser. Okay. So here we are just creating a server. So that server is created, but that server is not started yet. To start that server, we call a dot listen function. And the listen function, there are two parameters. First parameter is a port number, okay, on which port you want to start the server. Second parameter is again a callback function. Now here I'm directly passing a anonymous callback function. I'm not creating a function first and then passing it. I'm just passing directly a function here because we don't want to call that function again. So just as one-time function. So we can directly create a function in a parameter itself. Okay, this is also possible in JavaScript. This is also possible. You can directly pass a function here. Okay, now this function doesn't accept anything, and it will just print a console.log. But when this will be executed, this function, when this function will be called, once your server is started. That's the reason when we run this node server.js, once the server is started, you will see that server is running printed here. Okay, so once the server is started, this console log will print, and you can go to browser, hit localhost colon 4000, and then this listener function will be called, and hello will be printed, and response will be ended. Okay, that's how your code is running. Now here you can see that there is no like sequence here. Okay, it is calling whenever the internal things are getting called. Functions are calling anytime at any point of time. Okay, so that's the reason it is the nature is something different compared to other languages. Okay, just have to understand the code, how it is getting executed. Okay, then you will be able to understand how Node.js works. Okay, understood this simple server program. Now this server will be running. Okay, you can go and visit your browser and visit the localhost colon 4000. You can open another tab and again go to the browser with the same URL. You will see hello printed there. Okay, so that means the server is running in the background. Now to stop the server, you need to press Control C. If you press Control C, your code is stopped. You can go to localhost 4000 now, and if you hit enter, you will see this site can't be reached. Okay, because your server is stopped. Okay, so that's how you can create a simple server in Node.js. Okay, just a few lines of code. Okay, we can also reduce this code, but I have just extended the line of code because to understand it much better, each and every line. But we can reduce this code in 5 to 6 lines as well. Okay, but this is how you create a server in Node.js. Understood? This is a basic program. We will again go through this server related programs in an express topic. Okay. Till then, we will just see what is this. What is in Node.js server? How to create a server. Understood? Okay. Great. Okay. Okay. Run this. Okay, and just let me know once this is done. Okay. It's done. Good. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Okay, if it's done, then we will stop here for today. Okay, I don't want to go deep into today's topic. Okay, so we'll just stop for today. And in the next lecture, okay, from tomorrow onwards, we will start with your, sorry, we'll start with modern JavaScript lecture. Okay, so tomorrow there will be a lecture, but the day after tomorrow, like on Friday, uh, since I will not be there. Okay, I'm actually on vacation, so on Friday there will not be any. Yeah, yeah, you can write it down, no issues. Okay, so Friday there won't be any lecture, but tomorrow the lecture will be there at the same time, 7 to 9 p.m. Okay. Friday there won't be any lecture. The next after that the lecture will be directly on Monday. Okay, and our lectures will be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So on these 4 days the lectures will be there. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 to 9. Okay. This Friday there won't be any lecture. Tomorrow will be there. Okay. I hope it's clear to everyone. And yeah, before leaving, just give me your email IDs. Yeah, great. Okay. Just give me your email IDs because I'll be creating a classroom. Okay, I'll share all the content. Okay, in that classroom, like you can see that here. So I just post the content here, okay, like this. Okay, so every content will be there with the code and video as well. Recording also I will share it with you. Okay, so just give me your email IDs, not here. Okay, just give me it on your WhatsApp group. Okay, because here I won't be able to add all of this. Just once the lecture is done, I'll not be able to get this. Just post it in a group. Okay, I will add you all. Okay. And I will also create one calendar link. Okay, so that you will get the invitation just 10 minutes before the lecture. So you will also not forget about the lecture. Okay, 10 minutes before you will get the notification about the lecture. Okay, and the link, the joining link will be there in the meeting calendar link. Okay, so you don't have to ask me again and again. You can just open the calendar and you will find the link over there, okay, in the notification. I'll send you calendar invite as well. Okay. Okay then. So any questions, any doubts in today's lecture? No? Good. So I hope everyone is clear with the Node.js, what is Node.js, why Node.js, and the basic terminologies of Node.js and installation part and all. Okay, good. Okay, then we'll see tomorrow the same time, 7. Chalo then. Bye. Take care. Welcome.